What's up, Star Trek fans, and welcome to Star Trek Late Night. It's great to be here with you guys. Feeling pretty good about the season so far. This is quite amazing. A lot of people have said, like, oh, you're a shill for the show at this point. I mean, guys, it's almost crazy that I have to keep explaining how much I just hated. I really did not like seasons 1 and 2 of Star Trek Picard. It can't be overstated enough. So I just have to keep saying that because it's funny because seasons 1 and 2 were so, like, not very good to me. Maybe some people like them. That's great for you. I did not. But there are so many people that dismiss you if you like this season because they think you're shilling of some kind. And it's absolutely not true. You can go look up, I mean, you can find my reviews on Season 1, and it's not good on Season 1 and 2. And for the people that don't remember my reviews from 2020 on Star Trek, here is what my review sounded like after the 5th or 6th episode of the first season.
All right. So a lot of people have asked me about Star Trek Picard. Number one, I was going to do a review with Leah, but it never happened. I didn't want to do one, and now I'm ready to do one. Now I'm ready to talk about everything. Now that we have 5 episodes or whatever it is, 6 episodes, it feels like torture, to be honest. Have you ever had blue balls, like, as a guy? Because that's what Star Trek is like now. It's like you sniff that little bit of good stuff, and you're like, oh, this is great. This is going to be so cool. And then you're let down immediately. It's like a constant, like, ooh, what's that? And then, oh, let down. Like, oh, what's that? That was cool. That was Star Trek. Oh, I'm let down. I do see a correlation, too, with the new version of people. Like, people that don't like it who say, man, this just isn't right, you know? People's responses to that are like, fuck off and die, you shithead. Just go away then, scumbag.
It's funny because now we're dealing with that from every aspect and every angle. But there is the beginning of my review. And people were like, dude, what happened? I thought you were going to do reviews every episode. And it wasn't on this channel, but it was on my big main channel that I have where I was going to do it. And people said, why aren't you doing reviews? And it was because I was defeated. But here we are in Season 3 after 5 episodes. And man, is this different. And it's not just because the cast is coming back. I'm sure that helps with writing because you're allowed to write in these characters and come up with things. But the writing to me is very clever. There are little things that you question, but in the end, what's going on is I'm having fun. It's like I don't even have to think really. It's like they grabbed me and brought me on this entertaining movie journey. And this really feels like this is what Star Trek has been missing so badly. No Star Trek yet has been able to tell a story from beginning to end in 10 episodes where they're able to get from point A to B, meanwhile having a whole bunch of other little things tied up and put in there in as well. I know I'm being vague, but I just am that way. I will need to watch these 10 episodes, and we're on 5 episodes now, so I will need to watch these 5 episodes and eventually 10 episodes multiple times. But what I can tell you now is I am finally confident that what I've seen so far, even if the last few episodes like fell off a cliff for some reason, what I've seen, I want this on Blu-ray. I know I want it on Blu-ray. I know it. And that's what I've been waiting for. Season 1, the best part of Season 1 was that opening scene with Picard and Data. I loved it. I really did. That was like, ooh, that was hard, because that was wonderful opening, and then it all just kind of went to hell. We're off to the races here at this point in this show. And what I noticed, too, is every episode seems to get better and builds on itself. Now, there has been a little bit of an argument out there about what's better, episode 4 or 5, and that's good because we're literally arguing over which episode is better. And because episode 4 and 5, they're so different. Episode 4 is like the awesome climax to the 4 episodes you've been watching, and episode 5 is kind of like, all right, let's start. Let's continue on now because there's something else coming, and that's the Act 2, right? It's also kind of a ship in the bottle episode, so it's a little bit different. It's hard to compete with episode 4, in my opinion, because 4 is the payoff of 4 episodes, whereas 5 is sort of the beginning of Act 2, and so it's sort of like they're two different tones on purpose. It was funny, I saw someone on Twitter like shitting on Terry Matalas or shitting on the writing and directing or something like that, and it looked like something like this. I happen to enjoy this comment. It is clever. I'm sorry, it is clever. Jeez, I'm having a stroke, everybody. It is clear who didn't write and who... It is clear who didn't write and who didn't direct Episode 5, Star Trek Picard. I've turned into a Trek snob. That's what they say. Thought they said something else last time, though, but maybe they changed it. Terry Matalas responded to that, said, interesting implication and certainly wrong on multiple fronts. And then I'm Queer says, or Revolt Now, I don't know. Compared to 4, this felt flatter. Maybe it was just me. All right. You can't have every episode be a banger, because if you do that, then there's nothing to compare it to and there's no stopping. It's you got to set up and then boom, and set up and then boom. You don't just go boom, 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 boom. Like, it's not gonna work. Maybe at the very end it could work, but it doesn't work if you just start at the beginning, go boom, 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 boom. You get Fast and the Furious, like, you get empty-headed stupid crap. You got to build it back up again. So, I will say, listen, maybe this person has the brain of like, a goat, with a brainless goat. I don't know. Maybe this person sucks cow cock in hell. I don't know. And pardon my words. Some of you out there are probably sensitive to things. I'm an a-hole. I'm sorry. But, it's like, well, okay, well, episodes 1, 2, 3, 4 is the payoff episode. 5 is the reset. And if you didn't hear my review from this morning about episode 5, it's up right now. Go check it out. I was really rattling off the cuff about the episode, and we're going to go through it really quickly. We're going to go through it quickly in a second, so stick around for that. If you're really here for just me to go over episode 5, stick around. I'm going to do it. But no, so episode 5 is a reset, like, in a way. It's like, okay, we cleared chapter 1 or whatever, not chapter 1, but act 1. Saw the 4th episode was the banger, and now where do we go from here? Well, here comes the setup. And it's a ship in the bottle episode that first of all furthers the story, gives us more clarity on the story, and ties up a character's loose end from Star Trek The Next Generation, Season 7, the second to last episode of the series ever, where we never know what's going to happen to Ro. And Ro was supposed to go on to Deep Space Nine. And that's clearly what they had set up there. And it didn't happen. And so you never knew whatever happened to Ro, And I wasn't the biggest Ro fan. That was just an episode I thought, I wonder, I kind of was mad at her. So you are mad at her just like Picard is mad at her, in my opinion. And you get to kind of, like, almost 3D virtual reality through Picard, say the things to her that you'd want to say through Picard, and then he says them to her, and just the episode is wonderful in a different way. And yeah, it doesn't have it's not the thriller with the Spielberg like, and I'm not the first person to start mentioning Spielberg like about Terry Matalas as far as episode 4 goes, because it is like that. This literally, I don't give a shit. It's not sucking ass. I don't care if Terry Matalas blocked me. I mean, I'd feel bad, but, and I'm sure I've annoyed him on Twitter. But, dude, I didn't know Terry Matalas. I still don't really know him, and I didn't know him before. And I said all this stuff before ever seeing an episode that we'll see what happens. You know what I mean? And I was worried, actually, because I am not afraid to say what I think about something. And I was afraid that, it's going to suck to hurt someone's feelings who worked hard and seems to be nice on Twitter, and I'm going to say fucking stuff that sucks. And I'm not. I'm not saying stuff that sucks. It's unbelievable. So I just think that this person doesn't understand the tone, or maybe just doesn't quite get it, and that's fine. Listen, some of us don't get it. Some of us aren't as smart as others, and other people interpret art differently. But it's clear to see who directed and wrote and whatever else. No, this is part of the story. I mean, tell me directorially what you didn't like about this episode. Do you know what I mean? Like, what is it directorially that you didn't like about this episode? They didn't even say it, and there's no examples of it here. There's no examples. And here's the thing. It's such a ship-in-the-bottle episode that it doesn't really get the chance to have the same direction of Episode 4. So regardless of who directed it or who didn't, Episode 5 was a much more, ship-in-a-bottle, straightforward, a lot of 1 and 2 talking. But then there were unbelievable moments, like when the ship rose up. Everyone's talking about this. When the ship rose up, the angry ship, because Ro crashed into it. Spoilers. I mean, I'm sure everybody knows we're spoiling right now. When Ro crashed into it and blew it and just blew the friggin' nacelle. Like, that shit was crazy, dude. And then the thing, like, evilly came up. And we all saw, I saw it live when I was watching it. And I was like, damn, dude. It was like it's exactly like when a boxer or like a little guy in a movie punches the big guy and the guy just absorbs it. You punch a bigger enemy and the enemy goes, and the enemy goes, like, and you're like, oh shit, what did I just do? Bro, literally that scene, there's a million examples of that, what I'm talking about too, in movies and scenes. Holy shit, if this isn't, it rises up like motherfucking crazy. Like, dude, that scene, have you ever, like, you can see the anger and the evil stare. You can feel the emotion of a starship. They did that in this episode. The editing, the special effects, the team, whoever drew this up, I believe, I don't know this to be 100%. I think Terry Matalas drew it up this way. I don't know. I believe that. I'm sure if he was writing on a script, I forget the name of the other ship. Damn it, I forget the ship. But the name of the ship, angrily, menacingly rises up and faces back at the Titan. Like, he probably wrote some crazy, description of this happening, and there it is. Like, let me tell you something. I am not when E.T., bro, when you were a kid and you saw E.T. and those bikes flew up and he's in the friggin' basket, when the DeLorean first appears on screen, like and maybe some people wouldn't get all of this if they didn't know the Star Trek The Next Generation background. But knowing Star Trek The Next Generation and knowing Star Trek and also just watching this, that's why I say the Spielberg stuff is valid. I don't know if, Terry Matalas, I'm sure he knows now because people are saying this to him, but oh my God, bro, this is really fucking, like, heart-pounding shit at times. There are these moments in every episode that's like, woof, how do you keep doing it? How do you keep doing it? You know when there's a one-hit wonder? A one-hit wonder? That's what Picard Season 1 had. That opening scene with Data and Picard, I don't want the game to end. And the shot of Data and Picard, what a beautiful scene. That was like a hit right there. I was like, damn, that was, whoa. And then the show just goes to shit at pretty much. But like this, every episode, almost every episode, I think. I mean, they all have amazing moments, but almost every episode has like a, whoa, like an exciting moment or a heartstring moment, like there or a powerful moment. Dude, how do you keep doing it? Every episode is getting better in my opinion. Now, I think I like episode 4 better than 5 myself, but I've heard people that think episode 5 is better. And that's a crazy thing to be able to top every episode, top the last one. To me, that's an amazing thing. When you can top the last episode every single time. At this point, that's a crazy thing. And this is how I feel about Star Trek Picard at this point. The things that I don't like are few and very far between. They're just the tiniest little things. And the people that you're not going to be able to do anything about, the people that don't like it, that want to hate it just because they want to hate it. I think there's a few honest people that really don't like it, but man, most people love this. We have not seen this type of support and happiness for new Star Trek, other than maybe Strange New Worlds did a decent job. I think they've got a pretty good following, and I think that Discovery has like a little cult following of people that seemingly like love it. But it's not for me, really. But I do give them credit all the time for that season 1 turn at the very end. I always give it credit. That surprise at the end of season 1 about where they are and what universe and what's going on and the Lorca spin, was really well done. I really liked that. But I hated so much else that for me it kind of destroys Star Trek, so I stopped watching it. But I this is the opposite. Where in Discovery it's only that one little thing that I seemingly like. This is the opposite. I almost like everything that goes on in this. This is the movie that we needed after Nemesis. And right now I'm very confident in what we're seeing here. A lot of people said that Ro, it sucks that they killed off a character, just like they did with people complain that they did this with Icheb and they did this with Hugh, and I agree with the Hugh. This is much more meaningful. I mean, it's close to Hugh. Hugh was similar in a way. I didn't really have a problem that Hugh died, because Hugh, at least was furthering the story, helping Picard, and that sort of thing. This is different. I know that some people are like, oh, they just had her in one episode and then killed her. I think that's fine, because she got an emotional thing, a tie-up of a story. We know where she's been. This is what she's become. It is a bit tragic, but in the end, she helps Picard. And she really gets a strong appearance in an episode and a strong moment and a great death scene. Like, it's a really good one. It's not for nothing. It's not close to the worst. This is not even close to the worst death scene we've seen, for people. It's very good. It's quite good. Obviously, Icheb, that was bullshit and stupid. They just wanted to kill Icheb because the guy's a Republican or whatever. So they were like, let's not bring him back and we'll tear out his eyeballs. It's obviously was done on purpose for that reason, I think. Obviously it might have been done, because 7 of 9 needed to have an edge and needed to be angry about that and whatever. So maybe that's really Occam's razor, that's why they did it. But there's just something about it seems super just ridiculous. But maybe they are just that ridiculous. But this is a different writing group. There's a lot of people that still don't understand that different people wrote season 1 and 2, and Terry Matalas is completely in charge of season 3 with his own writing team. It's a whole different thing. And a lot of people don't know that. And if you don't know that, you would go into this very cynical. And it might take till episodes 5, 6, or 7 for you finally to be like, oh, this is different. You almost would go into the first couple with PTSD. I have PTSD from Picard season 1 and 2. I have so much PTSD from it that I keep waiting for it to get bad, and it just doesn't. In fact, it gets better. I keep thinking that the next episode I'm going to hate it more, or it's going to go to hell. Instead, I like it more than the previous episode. And I don't know why I added a T to previous, but previous episode. So, that's where I'm at this point. Let's read some comments. Let's check out some comments. There's been a lot of comments on my page, and we're going to check those out right now. I hope you guys are enjoying this sort of thing. Robert Hanford said, having seen some of the storylines, I think the enemy is the species 8472. 8472. It could be. It could be. It could be. And they may actually be in it somehow, but I don't know. We don't know. Justin says, what made episode 4 great was the build-up and Picard taking command. Goosebumps. Rolaren was one of my favorites. She was like Picard's daughter in a way. Yeah, he might have seen her a bit like that. I remember thinking that a bit. And it was a rough ending that episode. When she left. It's probably one of my least watched episodes. That Row episode where she joins the Maquis and leaves, because I just was so like, ugh. I used to skip that one a lot. Mike Bronx says, I felt the same about Roe when I was a wee one. I was too. Watching TNG, I thought she was so bratty and ungrateful. How dare you not want to be a part of Starfleet where you get to wear those awesome uniforms? But she warmed up to me when I saw her episodes decades later. See, yeah, I'm sort of the same way. I did like some of her other episodes, as a kid, but another excellent episode. I really believe that this season has elevated Trek. I do as well. Mullen25 says, I really hope the production writing team gets another great Trek series. I agree. First time in a long time. I look forward to each new episode. These are really good reviews, too. Ria Lavi says, I hope that's how you pronounce the name. Good review, subscribe. Thank you. SSIA, Cecilia, they bring back a character from 20 years ago just to kill her. That's some high school level writing, but the swamp nostalgia continues. I mean, man, I just don't agree. I don't agree with this. They did nostalgia stuff in the first season and then did nothing with it. They did nostalgia stuff in the second season and they really didn't do much with that. You know what I mean? Like I don't agree. I just fucking flat out don't agree that it's all just remember this bullshit. I don't agree with that. I think there's a lot of these type of things, but when a crew like this and when a show like this and when people like this have been away for so long, one of the best things you can kind of do is use a lot of that familiar stuff and smear it all together with a new story. And I think there's such a fun story going on that it's not that at all. Because if it was, I would be ranting about it. I would say, oh, this is all this is. And it's not. It's a really fun Star Trek story that we've never seen before, told in continuation like this. You know what I mean? We've never seen a 10-part story of Star Trek told like this. I mean, maybe, I guess, the Dominion War in DS9, yes. And maybe some of Enterprise did do it, yes. But we haven't gotten that since then. This is the first time that there's been this continuation of a Star Trek story told well. And along the way, we have a lot of familiar nods. And I don't think that that's bad. I don't think it's bad. It's gratuitous. It all plays into the story somehow, it seems like. She also says, I don't hate all of it, but I'm pretty bored. Reusing so many old plot lines is making the episodes tedious. Secret lost sons and killing off legacy characters as soon as they arrive is fan fiction level writing. I don't agree with that. What? I just don't agree with that. Fan fiction level writing is like I've read fan fiction level writing, and I'm like, what is this? This. I don't know. I don't agree with that. I get it, what you're saying, but I don't agree with that. I just don't. I thought I don't agree with it. Bruce says, great review as usual. I agree. 4 was the best so far, with 5 close second. But wait until Molly and the nitpicker idiot partner hate on this because it gets them clicks. Yes, that's true, Brew. We'll see them, man. There's no way they can hate it that much. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. Listen, someone would sit there and say, how can I love all of it? This is like Fox News and MSNBC. You know what I mean? You ever notice that the left-wing MSNBC, all they ever do is say their side of it, and they're right about everything, and Fox is evil and wrong, and then Fox sits there and says that MSNBC is evil and wrong, and everything they say is right? Somebody's going to be wrong. Somebody's disappointed. Somebody's got something, is going to be disappointed. Could it be everybody? George Carlin. You know what I mean? Like, so if anybody watches MSNBC and thinks that everything CNN and MSNBC is all right and Fox is all wrong, they're crazy. If you think Fox is right about everything, then you're crazy. So I have already told you what I don't like about the show. But you cannot really find anything that Molly and her husband, or whatever they are, like about the show. They have almost said nothing positive about the show. I believe almost near nothing. I've told you all my negatives. You know what I mean? And I continue to do it. But Molly and the old man, or whatever the fuck they're called, they just hate on everything. There's no possible way they don't have some positive things to say. I just don't believe it. And they don't like Worf. They don't like the way Worf is acting. They don't like they don't like any of that. Oh, he said something about tea. Oh, blah blah. Did you ever like Worf? If that's the case, did you really hate the Q episode where Worf breaks Geordi's guitar and it's funny, and you really hate the good tea, nice house? Like, you never liked Worf then, right? Like giving birth to Keiko's baby. Like all these different things. Like, you don't like Worf. Like, how could you have ever liked Worf and not said, like, that's Worf, that was awesome, or that was... You have nothing good to say? That's crazy. I don't believe it. It's fake. It's to get views and to make money or to grow a channel off hating. Because it's so much easier to pinpoint. I deal with this every day. It's easier to pick a side and fight than to be bold and stick up and say, no, I think some things are good and some things are bad. Then everybody hates you. Trust me, I know. I know. Because it's the same way in politics. If you find something a Republican says good, the whole left side attacks you. And if you find something left-wing that you like, the right side attacks you. And they both attack you for being an independent or a middleman. Oh, go sit on the fence, fuckface. People want ride or die, one way or the other. And that's fine. But you got to realize that. As a viewer, you got to realize that. You got to be careful not to get put in a trap of if somebody's hating on every single thing, almost nothing they like, there's something that's got to be wrong. I've told you what I liked about Discovery. I've told you what I liked about other things. But in the end, I give Discovery a thumbs down, and I don't like it. And it kind of pisses me off. But I'll tell you all the things I like about it. Because that's being honest. And if that makes me an asshole, fine. But if you just say all you do is make a channel on how bad something is and you never ever say anything good about it at all, I mean, that's either the worst show ever written in the history of anything, or you're being disingenuous as a reviewer and you've got an angle. Same thing. If you only watch MSNBC or you only watch Fox News, you can't be right all the time. You can't be right all the time. And you can't be wrong all the time. You know? It's fucking clear as day. This fucking show, at the very least, is better than any other Star Trek we've gotten. It's exciting, and every single goddamn episode gets better. But if you say, like, you know what, I see that, and it's definitely different, but I still don't like it, that's okay. All right. But right now, man, it's overwhelmingly better than anything I've seen reviewed in a while. I want to watch episode 6. The last episode was so good, Mr. Lau says. Thank you, Brew, as well. Win Grace says, I believe the original plan was for Ro to move to DS9. Yes, that's right, and then she didn't. She wanted to go off to do other things. That's a great point. Martin H. says about my stupid Terry Metalis song that I made the other day, which was dumb. Ridiculous, but funny. The time is now for Terry Trek. Come on, you apes. You want to live forever, do your part. Hype. Can't wait for tonight, says Doomed, huh? The Altar of Madness Multimedia Reviews. Thank you for the hype. Hate draws more clicks than positivity, unfortunately, says Greg Price. That's true. Hate and negativity sells, says CAC. And pretty much those are all the comments from the other day, and I pretty much agree with everything you guys are saying. Anyway, this morning I did my little review on my phone of Episode 5. Go check that out. I'll try to link it down below. Otherwise, just subscribe to the channel. If you guys like this sort of thing, I'm going to keep doing it, and I'm going to keep talking about it. And I just hope you guys stick around. I've got more to come. So thank you for being here, man. I'm so very appreciative of you guys. If you want to support me directly, paypal.me/Joe Cronin Show, or just subscribe, like, share this amongst all your friends that like Star Trek maybe, and come hang out with me and we'll talk about Star Trek. I've been watching since 1987, and with my father originally. I was born in 1984, so TNG is my shit, as well as the TOS movies, and I certainly like the original series as well, and I like everything. I like Voyager, I like Deep Space Nine, I like Enterprise. I actually love Enterprise, believe it or not. And I have a whole story about Enterprise, and I'll tell that in another podcast somewhere else. This has been Star Trek Late Night. And I'll see you guys next episode. Terry Metalis is God.